This is a date that marked me. Coming out of 2020, probably like many of you, and going into the new year, I'm expecting some kind of relief of just the craziness of everything that we had experienced. And my day starts pretty normal. Had the day off, spent the time with family, out of town, hung out, ate, had a great day. And we get back home and all of a sudden I start feeling incredible chest pain. And I'd never felt this way before, and at the time I'm in my mid-30s. So I know I'm still young, but I'm not so young that I can't take this seriously, and the pain just begins to intensify. It feels as if someone is standing on my chest. And my wife ends up taking me to the emergency room. I go through all the heart tests, and my heart's fine. But it turns out what I had was a massive panic attack, which then what follows is other massive panic attacks. And I begin this step in this stage towards a recovery of my body and my soul. But if you rewind a little bit earlier, that's not the first time something like that had happened. I was in a higher ed role as an administrator and as a professor, and was working 70, 80 hours a week, was traveling a lot, and it just became too much. I was gone and my daughter was just born and I wasn't seeing her development all the ways I wanted to. And so I left the job. I went back to ministry, and when I transitioned back, I ended up going through a series of incredible migraines where I would throw up all the time. We weren't sure what was wrong. I ended up having to go through a CT scan. And it turns out again, well, my brain was fine. But the real issue is that I had been addicted to success, to achievement, to performance. I'm a recovering achiever. And I don't use that terminology flippantly. I don't use it lightly. There are those of you who, man, you're in the fight against alcohol or another substance abuse, and man, I cheer you on for being in that fight. Of staying the path, of staying strong. But I use that term because our culture, and unfortunately I think a lot of church culture, we celebrate those who are success driven, who produce a lot, who get things across the finish line. And while there is a level that is good, I think subtly it becomes addictive. That you become addicted to the performance, to the next thing that you're going to achieve, that the last one is never enough. And I began to realize, mostly because the body keeps the score, and my body was telling me, dude, this ain't working. You're going to fall apart. There's got to be a better way. And so I began my journey of uncovering how to choose grace over grind. And I want to share a brand new devotional that I just put out called Grace Over Grind. And it's all about how do we, as achievers, as those who tend to be so performance driven, how do we get off that wheel and into the pace of grace? The framework for this devotional is the Enneagram, which is a spiritual personality test. And I realize in Christian circles, the Enneagram is a bit like cilantro. Either you love it or you hate it and you think it tastes like soap. And I don't think the Enneagram is perfect. But what I have found with the Enneagram, it's a diagnostic tool that shows the dark side of my wiring. And it shows me the person that I think I'm supposed to be. So if you're like me and you want to get onto the road of recovery and off the road of performance and achievement and feeling like the accolades are never enough, I'd love to have you join me in this journey. Available now on Amazon, Grace Over Grind.